everybody. Happy Wednesday. I hope it's a happy Wednesday, that you're finding something to be happy about or something to enjoy, some way to take care of yourself today. I was talking with one of my clients and this idea popped into my head for our activity today of untangling emotions. It's an activity I do in a bunch of different ways, and I wanted to share it with you today. It's all about untangling our emotions. Does it ever feel like your emotions are just all tangled up and maybe even have random bits you don't quite understand flowing through your body and your mind? That's our goal today, to help bring some clarity to that. I was just writing up the newsletter before I came on today and listening to a few podcasts on affect regulation, which all ties into this. So I will have links to that in my newsletter, that if you want to sign up for it, the link's in my bio. The sign up is at hopeandhealingathome.com. I put those out each week to correspond with our art therapy live videos. So I always describe the activity, the materials, the reasons behind the activity, and give some reflection questions along with some other helpful resources. Some links, like if we have a guest speaker, I always include their information all typed out in there. So, helpful. If it's interesting to you to learn a little bit more, please bop on there and sign up so that you can get all that helpful information in one spot coming right to your email. So I don't know if any of you have ever noticed this about yourself or people around you, that the minute that you meet somebody, could even just be the grocery store clerk or a gas station attendant or passing somebody at church or at the doctor's office or a waiting room, or even when you're in a rush running through the grocery store or even just like a little quick trip market or something like that, and you're like, I just got to get milk and get out of here. I got to get the dogs out of the kennel, or I got to pick the kids up from practice. You don't have any time to spare. But what do you do when you see somebody you know? You're like, oh, how are you doing? And they say, fine, how are you doing? And you're like, fine, how are you doing? Got to go. It's a question that I actually start out almost every one of my sessions with, is, how are you doing? And when I ask it in my session, I want an actual answer. I want to know what emotions have been going through my clients' minds and bodies, what their week's been like, what they want to talk about for the day. But often I find that people are like, I don't know, same as usual, busy, I don't know, fine. It's kind of a confusing question. It doesn't seem like it would be a confusing question, but it often is. Today is one step in this journey of kind of trying to untangle our emotion and move towards emotional regulation, and some people will call it affect regulation. So this is not the whole answer. This is the start of the answer. So if you want to grab, as simple as a pen for today's activity, or any other materials you like. If we have time, maybe I'll even get into some collage and stuff. And I also grab my water-soluble crayons because I just think they're tons of fun. So to start with, grab your pen and think about your day. Now maybe you want to have your paper vertical. Maybe you want to have it horizontal. Whatever feels right to you. And think about your day. Or you could think about a moment in the day, like one situation that occurred, and you want to slow it down and really focus on that one situation and what your emotions did during that event. So if I was to think about my day today, I'm just going to turn mine vertical. Who knows, maybe it'll bleed over onto this page as well. But let's see. I started my day out, and you can start on your paper anyway. You could start in the middle if that felt right to you, or on the upper corner or a lower corner. Anywhere on this paper would be fine to start. I'm just going to start here. My day started out, felt pretty peaceful. It's a pretty nice morning. Yep, so I'm just slowly going through my day. I don't want to think too much about it. I just want to kind of flow through it and let my pen move to represent how things went. Then it got a little bumpy, a little confusing with a few things going on. I got really upset about something. Then I came back and it was kind of mellow, and then the dogs mellowed out. Let's see. And then it was a really smooth, Had a really nice conversation with somebody, and it kind of meandered. There was some joy in there. Then I was writing. Thoughts kind of flowed. Things were moving well. And this is where I end right now. And I have a bunch of questions that are up in my brain right now about some stuff coming up this week that I'd like to figure out tonight. So I didn't get through my whole day. I only got from waking up this morning till about right now, and there's more to come for this day. So that's the start. Oops, sorry, I went offline for you here, or off the space. That's as simple as this whole activity can be. You could just draw a line to represent your day or some situation that you've gone through that you wanted to understand your emotions about some more. I didn't name a whole lot of emotions as I was drawing this. I was trying to just visually get them onto the paper, because this is where the magic starts to happen, is we start to be able to look at it outside of our own selves and begin to put some images, some colors, some words to this, and begin to have the ability to talk to other people and start to regulate ourselves. So a lot of people, when they have panic attacks or they come in to see me about like anger regulation, I want to be able to manage my anger. I want to just feel happy, not so depressed, and they feel like they're pulled by different emotions. Have any of you experienced that in your life? Like you feel like your day's going okay, and all of a sudden, pow, you're having a panic attack, you're hyperventilating, feel like you're going to have a heart attack, or something sets you off, and you're like, I was having a nice day, and now I am screaming at my dogs or stomping around the house. What the heck? It went from 0 to 190 in about a quarter of a second. I don't have any control over my emotions. So this is an exercise that can help you with that. So you can take that moment and you can zoom in on it and put it in a line. You can start to add color if you wanted. You can go through collage materials. Maybe there's some patterns that you would like. I do really like this green one. As I'm thinking about my day, it's kind of percolating in the back of my mind. So I'm just going to grab some papers that seem to be the right bit to put in here for myself. But use images, use colors to represent it. It doesn't have to be very perfect or anything. You don't even have to really understand why something resonates with you. The fact that you're thinking about what happened in that flip of a switch and what happened one step before it, and trying to zoom in kind of like a microscope. You see this one ink spot on your day and you want to zoom into it and make it bigger and bigger. Not to stay there and dwell there and make a bigger deal out of it than it is, but to investigate what's in that spot. So I could just take this moment of my day and I could do a whole piece of art based on that. I could kind of zoom in on it and really try to untangle those lines and what makes up those lines. So if I think back to this morning when that happened, I'm just going to grab some colors to represent it. Again, there's not a right way to do it, just whatever feels like is the right combination, the right kind of line. So pressing hard, pressing light, the color you choose, the speed that you make the lines, you could go slow, you can go fast, you can press hard, you can press light, you can make, again, like the flowy line, you can make the meandering, I don't know what this is, line, you can make a smooth line, a jagged line. All of those are tools within your toolbox that can help represent and help show you what's in that subconscious, what's in that emotional part of you today. Why these specific colors popped out, I'm not sure. But I just wanted to bring in some water. And this is what I like about water soluble things. You could even make it like, if you add enough water, you can make it drip if you wanted to. You could blow this around and create another line. Okay. And obviously, if you use water, you got to let it dry before you mark on top of that again, or you'll get frustrated. Trust me, the markers won't work, the pen won't work, you might rip your paper, and maybe that's the look that you want. It's really fun when you just have random paper around. So have fun with this exercise. Allow yourself to get a little bit lost and give yourself freedom to put something on the paper without really knowing a specific reason why, without having any pressure on yourself about the outcome, because that's where you're going to allow the right side of your brain, that subconsciousness, to let itself out to play. And that is where we can get some really good insight. We tend to, as we grow older, wiser, more mature, we tend to compartmentalize. We tend to put barriers up and sort of move through our day and suppress emotions, deny certain thoughts, deny ourselves really time to connect with ourselves. This is not everyone. This is a tendency of a lot of us. We're like, oh, I'm really irritated about that, but I need to go be kind to that person. I need to listen to their problems. I don't have time to listen to what's going on within myself. So I kind of need to shove those emotions down so that I can be present and do a good job at work today. I'm really sad about that situation, but I need to be there for my kids and cheer them on at their game and have a happy face. It reminds me of when I was younger. My parents own a restaurant that we worked at, of course, growing up, right? When your parents own a business, that's what you end up doing for your summer jobs. And odd weekends, you get called in when others don't. Today we're exploring our emotions a little bit to help gain some clarity on what happens in a day. So what I started with was just drawing a line to represent my day so far, and I'm embellishing it with some color and some collage. Have you ever done anything that helps you sort through your emotions? Let me know if there's a time where you felt really confused by what your emotions were and not quite knowing what words to use or how to even take care of yourself, or finding it hard to kind of regulate and control your emotions and find that middle ground of how do I take care of myself and feel sad or mad, but not letting that take over, but still having space to control your behavior or your action that feeling is making you want to take, or being able to go about your day. I was just talking about how I sometimes can be very good. This can be a strength and a weakness. Very good at compartmentalizing emotions, but sometimes that, how do I want to say it? Not really an opportunity, but it disconnects me a bit from myself. And so when people ask me how I'm feeling, or I have a minute to take care of myself, I don't even know where to go. And also that 0 to 90 in about a half a second feeling of my day is going okay, something happens, and suddenly I'm screaming at the dogs over something small, or screaming at the kids, or literally crying over spilled milk. Has that ever been an experience that you've had? That's kind of what we're addressing today with this activity of being able to take a moment, slow ourselves down, give our right brain space to play a bit, express itself, and let us in on what's actually happening in that 0 to 90 in half a second feeling. We want to get towards affect or emotional regulation. And the first step is just learning to pay attention to ourselves and learning to catch the cues. So let me know if that's ever been an experience of yours and what things have helped you gain some clarity and insight, and steps that you've taken to slow yourself down and be able to catch yourself when you're moving so quickly between an emotion. And often people will say, well, I was triggered. And well, that is absolutely true. Certain things definitely trigger us, bring us back to traumatic or difficult moments, and it seems to come out of the blue. But one thing I have noticed with all of my clients is the more we pay attention, the more we do activities like this, the more insight we gain about ourselves. Pulling this line out or this line out, we can zoom in and we can start unraveling it and see what the different steps are, and that it's not actually from 0 to 90 or 0 to 180 or 0 to 370 miles an hour. There were a lot of steps in between. There were a lot of speeds in between. If we take it from a color perspective, there's a lot of shades between these two colors. There's a lot of shades between these two shades. We don't go from this emotion to this emotion instantly. It might feel that way, but using this art exercise and some writing and learning to pay attention to ourselves, we can learn what the signs are for these other shades in between. And we can learn to give them names, and we can learn to spot them and take a step. We can go from this color, and maybe in the past we moved from here to here in just the flash of an eye. But now that we've done some thinking and been a little bit intentional and paying attention, we realize there's 2 other steps in between. And we might be able to catch ourselves. Oops, I'm moving to this shade. Here's a step. Here's an action step I can take to move back here. Or we can catch ourselves here and move ourselves back to here. We don't have to go all the way. Sometimes I start going and I get so involved in talking with you guys, I forget to keep working on my art. And sometimes I start thinking of 12 other directives that I could give you, and I don't want to confuse you. But if you've got young kids and you think that this activity might be a little bit too much, although they might surprise you, another really good one, and this is, I use all of these activities I use with every age group, but another one that is really good is the traffic light exercise, and I'll go over that real briefly here. You can probably already guess what I'm going to say, but at another Art Therapy Live will actually make this activity. So obviously you get out, and I have the wrong colors. Traffic lights aren't green, yellow, and orange. They're green, yellow, and red. So these green activities, and schools use this description a lot too, so it can be helpful if you have the same verbiage as school and home and other places. So green activities, well, those would be all those activities that we love seeing, that are good things, that are positive things. You keep doing them. Keep using those words, keep using that tone, keep doing those things, keep sharing. Keep working hard. You're doing great. Red things, those red behaviors, are those ones that you don't want. You don't want to scream. You don't want to hit somebody. You don't want to stomp. You don't want to slam the door. You don't want to swear. You know those things, those behaviors that you just want to stop right now. The things that you need to go, give yourself a time out to think and cool down. Yellow are those activities in between. So they're the warning things. If you start noticing somebody getting a little snippier with their voice, or maybe you notice yourself shoveling in some food, or clenching your fists, or holding your breath, those would be signals that you're in yellow and you need to go do something to take care of yourself before you hit a red activity. So that can be a really helpful thing. And again, we'll do that on another live. Just couldn't help but share that one with you. A little bonus for being here live or watching the replay. I will keep working on my collage here. I'm kind of inspired about something about this peacock bird. So I hope this idea has been helpful to you. I hope it spurs you on to try it. And again, if you want my newsletter with lots of questions around this and other ideas and some great links to a good podcast about affect regulation, sign up at hopeandhealingathome.com. And that link is in my bio. And I'm so glad that you joined me today. Do hope you give it a try. This activity is as simple as using a pen or a pencil or a marker or crayon and thinking through your day and drawing a line, any kind of a line to represent your day. And then you can journal about it and gain some insights. And then you can embellish it as much as you want. Collage pieces, different colored materials, words. Embellish to your heart's content and see what insights you gain about how your emotions changed, and start becoming more aware of yourself and your emotions as you move through a day and different situations. Sometimes it is just really nice to play with colors, with art supplies, and see what happens. Sometimes as I express my emotions visually, I notice that my body has some different responses, and that has something to say too, doesn't it? And if you have any specific emotions or situations or topics that you would like to see addressed with art therapy, please let me know, and I will make sure to customize an art therapy live with that in mind. Have fun. Thanks for coming on today. Thanks for watching, whether it was during the live or the replay. Love to hear from you. Love to see what you create. Take care.